My wife and her secret. Lover mocked me, saying I'd never leave. You're too weak, she laughed. But then I walked past them, grabbed my suitcase and said just one sentence. Her smile vanished. His jaw dropped. She fell to her knees, screaming, "Wait." But it was too late. I always thought of our home as a sanctuary. A place where at the end of a long day, Emma and I could find comfort in each other's company. Our living room had the kind of soft, inviting light that made it feel like a safe haven. The furniture was simple but well-loved: sofa cushions slightly worn from use, a coffee table cluttered with books we had yet to read, and a family photo hanging on the wall from a trip to the beach years ago. It wasn't much, but it was ours. Every evening, Emma and I would sit in the living room, side by side, sipping our wine. It was a routine, a comforting rhythm that had been the backdrop to our life together. But lately something felt off. I could feel the distance between us growing, like a gap that neither of us knew how to bridge. At first I thought it was just stress. Maybe it was the pressure of work or the exhaustion that comes with day-to-day life. But as the days turned into weeks, that discomfort in the air became undeniable. Her smiles weren't as warm. The quiet hum of the house, which once felt familiar, now seemed to echo with something unsaid. And her phone, always by her side, buzzing with notifications, screen dimming as she hastily shoved it into her pocket. Whenever I came near, started to nod at me. At first I brushed it off. Who was I to question her? She'd always been the love of my life. But the unease, the small hints, they lingered. Then one night I saw it, a single text. Just a few words, but those words shattered everything. I had returned home late, tired from a long day at work, and the house was quiet, too quiet. Emma was in the kitchen, half-heartedly cooking dinner as usual. I sat down on the couch, the soft cushion sinking under my weight, and let out a long sigh. It was like I was watching someone else's life from the outside. I glanced at her phone lying on the coffee table, screen face up. The name on the text was unfamiliar, Dylan, and the message was clear. Can't wait to see you tonight, I need you, Zach. My heart stopped. Time seemed to slow. I didn't want to believe it, but there was no denying the message. No mistake. This was real. I picked up her phone, my hands trembling. She hadn't locked it, which felt like the first betrayal in a series of mistakes. There were more messages, dozens in fact. The same number, the same words. It was like a dagger lodged in my chest, twisting deeper with every new line I read. I couldn't breathe. Every thought, every emotion collided in my mind. How had I missed this? How had I not seen it? It didn't make sense. Emma, the woman I trusted with my heart, was having an affair. She'd kept it so well hidden, and I had been oblivious. Or worse, had I known deep down and just refused to see it. The shock began to morph into anger, into something more dangerous. I stood up abruptly, unable to sit still, unable to contain the whirlwind in my chest. She was in the kitchen, humming softly as she stirred something on the stove. The sound of her voice, the mundane familiar hum, felt like a betrayal all on its own. I walked to her slowly, the phone still clutched in my hand. Emma. My voice was calm, but beneath the surface, there was a storm brewing. She turned her face, lighting up with that same smile she used to give me. But when her eyes caught the phone in my hand, her smile faltered. Who's Dylan? I asked, my voice steady but breaking underneath. Her face went pale. The color drained from her cheeks. For a moment, I thought she might deny it. But then she did something worse. She laughed. It's not what you think, Mark, she said, waving her hand dismissively. It's just a little fun, I'm bored, okay? You don't give me what I need anymore. My stomach twisted in disbelief. So you thought cheating was the answer? She shrugged, her eyes distant. You're too weak to leave anyway. I knew you wouldn't do anything. You've always been too afraid to make a decision. The words hit me like a slap across the face. Too weak to leave. She really thought that. She thought I was too weak to stand up for myself, too weak to walk away from this betrayal. Before I could stop myself, the anger surged, overwhelming me, clouding my judgment. You think I'm weak? Let's see how weak I really am. The next day I made up my mind. I was done. I would confront them both, Emma and her lover. But not just to yell or beg for answers. I had no intention of pleading for her to come back. What I had planned was far worse. I gathered everything I needed, my suitcase, my thoughts, and prepared myself for the confrontation. It wasn't going to be pretty, but it had to happen. When Emma came home from work, I had already made my move. Her lover Dylan was sitting casually on the couch, as if he belonged there. He looked up as Emma walked through the door, and the cocky grin on his face told me everything I needed to know. He didn't fear me, he didn't care. He thought I was a joke. I didn't think you had the guts, Emma said, her voice dripping with sarcasm. So you finally decided to do something. Watch me, I said, my voice low, steady. I grabbed my suitcase, the one I packed with everything I could carry. It wasn't much, but it was enough to make a statement. I could see her face change, her smugness slipping. She stood up, stepping toward me. You're just going to leave? After everything we've been through? You're that much of a coward? She spat, her words full of venom. I didn't respond. Instead, I walked past her, past Dylan, as they both stood frozen in disbelief. I knew this was what they had expected, the fact that I wasn't going to beg or cry. I was done. Please, Mark, Emma begged, her voice breaking as she reached out to stop me. Don't go, we can work this out. Her desperation was almost pathetic. Almost, but I didn't look back. I'm not working this out. I'm done, I said, without a hint of emotion. Dylan tried to step in front of me, but I pushed past him with a quiet strength that seemed to surprise even him. You're nothing but a coward, he sneered, but the words didn't faze me. I was beyond their games. Emma's face twisted in anguish, and in that moment I realized something. She wasn't scared of losing me. She was scared of losing everything. She had the lifestyle, the comfort, the life she had built. She dropped to her knees, begging now, but I was already gone. Days passed and the initial shock of leaving Emma faded into something far colder, revenge. I would make them regret their actions, make them feel the full weight of their betrayal. I didn't want to hurt them in some blind emotional fit. I wanted them to feel the destruction they had caused. But I had to be smart, calculated. I started with Dylan. He thought he was untouchable too, important in his job to ever be exposed. But everyone had weaknesses. And I was going to find his. I dug deep into his past, his job, his social life. I found the skeletons buried in his closet. The secrets he'd kept hidden from everyone. The same lies he'd told Emma were the ones he had been telling his own family. He was nothing more than a fraud. Next I turned to Emma. She had assumed I would be too weak to act, too broken to rise above her. But I wasn't weak. I was angry. And I wasn't going to let her destroy me without consequences. I made sure every step I took was carefully planned. Little by little, I started to expose the cracks in her perfect life. The lies, the deceit, the betrayal. She was going to pay for what she had done. The aftermath of my actions was almost too much to take in. Emma's reputation, once pristine, crumbled. The people who had once adored her turned away. Dylan's career was shattered. His dirty secrets were laid bare for everyone to see. He was fired from his job, shunned by everyone in his circle. I watched it all unfold from a distance. The satisfaction was real, but it wasn't as sweet as I thought it would be. I had won, but in the process, I had become something I hadn't wanted to be. I had lost myself along the way. As I stood there watching Emma's life crumble, I realize that some betrayals don't break us, they build us into something stronger. But at what cost? Like the video if you think justice was served. Have you ever been betrayed like this? What would you do in my shoes? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories of betrayal, revenge, and redemption.